Attention Earthlings, do not attempt to adjust your dial.
You are about to voyage into the marvelously mystifying.
Join us as we navigate the enigmatic waters of consciousness, delve into the arcane realms of the occult and the paranormal, and converse with captivating beings from across the universe.
Prepare to expand your mind, challenge your perceptions, and journey into the unknown with your guides, Bunnicula and HP Hovercraft.
The frequencies of strangeness await.
Welcome to Dizzy Spell.
Hello, welcome. It's the Dizzy Spell.
Woo!
We're here.
I'm excited for the Dizzy Spell and to talk about something. Yeah, I feel like you got some cool stuff to tell me. How do you feel about that?
Yes, I can confirm. I do. But first, any banter we need to get out of the way with? Any pop culture?
Okay, what did I watch? I watched the new Wallace and Gromit movie. Have you seen
what? There's a new one?
Yeah, there's a new one. It's on Netflix, and it's really good. And then I was like, while I was watching it, I went, man, I just love Wallace and Gromit. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't realized how much I love Wallace and Gromit because it's been so long since I've seen any of the things. Rewatched Chicken Run. Chicken Run holds up. Very good movie.
Okay.
Do you watch The Traitors? Or do you know about The Traitors?
No, and I don't really understand what it is.
Okay. The Traitors might be the culmination of all reality shows into the greatest reality show.
Okay.
Game reality show ever made. And it's like, did you ever play Mafia growing up?
Maybe.
Where it's like everybody's got their heads down and like certain people are like the bad guys in Mafia and then you have to like figure out who they are and everybody gets voted off, whatever. And it's like a classroom game. So Traitors is like Mafia. Like that's in its like purest form. That's what it is. The thing that makes it interesting and they've changed it. It's a UK show that it wasn't always like this, but in the US version of it, it's all like people from other reality shows. So people from Big Brother or Survivor or Real Housewives or The Bachelor or The Challenge or even like RuPaul's Drag Race.
Wow.
Or anything. And they all get them all. It's super, super, like, campy stylized with Alan Cummings.
Yes, okay. I think I've seen he's the host. Yeah.
From Spy Kids 2.
And Spy Kids 1.
Yeah. No, just Spy Kids 1. And they all live in this castle in Scotland together. And, like, the first night, they all put their heads down at the round table, and Alan Cummings selects two or like a number of them to be the traitors. And the rest of them are faithfuls. And so every night the traitors get together in like this secret meeting where they like fully like wear like robes and like it's like a little cult where they get together in like this dungeon room and decide who they're going to murder of the faithful.
Okay. And then, so it's like the game Werewolf.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yes. Totally.
And then in between that, there's like and that's what happens every night. And then the next day, they all wake up and one of them is dead, and they go about their day and they play like a challenge, and then they all have a round table where they all sit and just like and they have to vote one of them out based on who they all as a team think is the traitors. And then they vote somebody out, and then that person goes, I'm a traitor or I'm a faithful. And that's how it is. That's the rotation of things every day. But there's like hella twists, and they're constant, and the games are like, that they play are really like super themed. And Alan Cummings is just always wearing like a ridiculous outfit and just saying funny things to the camera. And it's just a really good time for everybody.
Okay. I might have to
I think everybody should watch it. It rocks.
Was Alan Cummings also in Josie and the Pussycats?
I'm not sure. All that I have ever seen him in is Spy Kids.
I think he was, yeah. Well, that sounds great. I need to watch that.
Yeah, it's really it's really like they play up like the gothic architecture, gothic horror aspect of things. And it's just really fun.
Fun.
People are serious about their game, you know.
Okay. Yeah. I've never really watched much reality TV. I don't know why.
It's the best one. It's the best thing like this. Like, it's not really about their personal relationships at all, or like, oh, are they gonna, like, there's not like stuff like that, like kitschy, dumb stuff. It's just like, it's fully the game.
Yeah. Cool.
So, it's
fun.
Cool. I like it.
Oh, okay.
I love it. I watched the movie Flow with the cat, about the cat.
Okay.
It's like a best animated feature movie coming up this year.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And it's like made by a small studio on like free to use animation tools. Just like really like cool. Freeform open source. It's cool. It's like super relaxing. Just a cat on a little adventure.
Yeah.
With all sorts of other cool animals.
Did you see Wicked?
Not yet. Don't know when I'm gonna watch it. Abby has to like wait for her old assistant to watch. Like, they're gonna like watch it together.
That happened to me. Yeah, I just got to see it finally because I wanted to watch it with my sister. It was actually pretty good.
That's what everybody says. I don't want it to win anything. Like, I don't want it to like go further, but I do want to watch it. But I don't want to pay any money for it. Yeah, and that's how I feel.
I would say this. I agree with you. If I hadn't hyped it so much, like, yeah, I think I could have waited for the free version. You know. Free. Yeah. You're not missing out on it.
Does it feel a little ridiculous that it's only half of it?
Yes, I do agree. But it is a long story.
Yeah, but even I don't know, even just all the songs and the whole thing, if you listen to the Broadway CD, it's like only an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, yeah, I don't know if it was necessary. It's going to be a 5-hour thing.
Yeah. I just don't know if it needs to be like that. I don't know. I have a hard time believing that the Wicked movie needed to be 5 hours.
I agree with you. Yeah, I don't know if it did. But yeah, SpongeBob is not in it very much.
Bummer.
The guy who played SpongeBob on Broadway. But then I got very interested and we looked up a video of clips from the SpongeBob musical because I was just like,
is that the one that's dating Ariana Grande now?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
The SpongeBob guy.
Which you'll love this sort of pop culture conspiracy. It's not really conspiracy, but more of a pop culture observation I saw is that Ariana Grande's brother, Frankie Grande, and Ethan Slater, who is SpongeBob and Bach in Wicked, they look exactly alike. If you put Ethan Slater's eyebrows and hair on Frankie Grande, they look exactly alike. It's very strange. Are you looking it up? Please tell me.
I am looking it up. Jeez.
It's pretty amazing.
Ethan Slater is the guy that...
Yeah.
Here's one, this is another one. This is like juicy, not theory, not anything, not conspiracy, but just
can't wait.
Observation is that Ariana Grande went full method and is indeed in love with Cynthia Erivo or whatever. That's why the press tour has been weird. And that also she needed to just latch onto whatever straight man was available, and that's why she's with Ethan Slater now, and everybody doesn't know what's going on. That's something I read on the Twitters.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. It's all a very theater kid energy, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like theater kid energy for sure.
Me, I was big. I was there.
Oh, were you a theater kid?
Amongst the theater kids, I was in. Was in plays all 4 years. I don't know if I would say I was a theater kid.
Sounds like you were. What kind of plays did you do?
I was in Bye Bye Birdie. I was in Midsummer Night's Dream. I was Puck.
Oh, of course you were.
I was in Flowers for Algernon. I was young Charlie.
Whoa.
Another classic high school.
I didn't know that was a play. Wow.
Yeah, Flowers for Algernon. Sad.
We always read the book. Wow.
I was in Our Town. Serious theater there. I played the lead in Our Town. I was in a play called Black Comedy where I was the lead. Won a regional acting award. High school
Stop.
regional.
How did I not know this about you, HP Hovercraft? Oh my gosh.
I have my award in my house still.
I
My
love
mantle.
it. Wow. This makes sense somehow. How did I never know?
I just thought.
Wow.
How
Do
about
you ever think about like trying to do more theater?
Yes.
Or more acting?
Anybody, if you would like to pay me to be in your short film or
Ooh.
anything, I will do it for not much. You can call, give us an email.
Yeah,
I would
email
love to
us.
be in a short film.
Ooh, that's cool. Okay, I'll keep that in mind in case I ever need you for a short film.
Anybody needs
Cool.
me to be in a short film or do any commercial work or voiceover work.
Do you know about like the concept of the essence, Like
No.
in acting, it's like every person has their essence, which is like when people look at you, it's sort of like the impression they get when they first meet or see you, and it really has nothing to do with your actual personality or any of that, but it's just like your essence, and it's like this energy you give off. And people go to these like really intense classes, these acting classes where they get very deep into like owning your essence and how that can like make you a better actor, because you go out for like parts that are more aligned with like who you actually come off as, so I'm curious, like what would be like your essence? Like what kind of characters would you think you would get like typecast as or something?
Man, I don't know. Am I supposed to answer that, or is
I'm curious. Like I'm just like curious.
Director?
Like yeah, that's a good question. Maybe that's more of a question for the professional.
Yeah, I don't know. If you know, write in.
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm like,
What's our essence?
HP Hovercraft
Listeners.
Ooh, yeah. Tell us our essences.
What are our essences?
Love that.
Something that did happen to me a lot is that I would get cast as some like secondary character and then get upgraded to the lead. That happened to me twice.
Ooh, interesting. So it was like you were so impressive.
Everybody doubts me until they let me get out there. And they go, listen, you need a much bigger role.
You heard it here. HP is a leading man. I love it.
All right. You got any weird stuff for us to talk about? Or is there anything weird going on in the world? A couple weird things happened today.
What do you mean? To you personally?
No,
or?
in the inauguration sphere.
Yes. Today is
it's gurgling. No, it's something that we haven't
gurgling.
Do you know? Did you hear anything about or know anything about like Elon Musk's pseudonym that got
Adrian
revealed?
Dittman? Yeah. It's like he's like one of those people that you can't insult because they're like so dense that like it doesn't even like affect them. You know what I mean? And it's like he could do the most cringe thing in the entire world and he like isn't even self-aware enough to like understand why he's being so cringe.
I just think that it's really funny how like much he's been outed as like a fake nerd.
Yeah,
like fake,
totally.
Like fake gamer specifically.
Yeah.
Now that he like has been trying to be like, I'm the #1 ranked Diablo player or whatever, or like I just even see like I don't even understand it, but I see him like he'll post his Elden Ring character and everybody will be like, this is a trash build, and like explain all the reasons why his Elden Ring character sucks. And I just
which honestly that makes sense because
so funny to me.
Like understanding how you can min-max in that just makes me understand that I can never understand how to min-max in Elden Ring. It is like so complicated and there is like this whole science to it. Yeah, it's not something a filthy casual can pull off,
This like guy that was like, I can just buy a character, and just like buys stuff from people. I saw today that somebody pointed out that his like whatever character in some game was like playing while he was on TV at the inauguration.
Yeah, Path of the Exile 2, I think is the game.
Yeah, pointing out that he's not playing or like has somebody else doing the things for him. Like, it's just not hard to believe that somebody that is like that is not spending like, 18 hours a day playing a video game. Like, then that should be fine. It should be fine that you don't need to like pretend.
My question is, when is he like actually running these businesses, these, companies that he supposedly is the CEO of? I don't know. It's all.
No, he is. He's not doing that, but he's also not playing the video games, but he doesn't have time to do that. So he has to pretend that he's playing the video games instead of doing the opposite thing.
Yeah.
I have one more thing to say.
Ooh, okay.
This is unrelated to anything except for I'm looking at it right here. So I've been redabbling into weed, basically.
Okay.
So I don't really know how else to put that. But I'm like, what's going on with weed laws in Tennessee?
It's a very
what is the deal
nebulous.
With all these, now that I've been going into these, like I guess they're Delta 8 shops, or somebody told me something was THCA.
Oh, yeah. They got all the initials.
And they're just like, it's just like going to a dispensary in any other, like, state where things are legal.
Yeah.
But things are just like what I'm just confused. Like, I don't know what thing is, but it's just like, oh, this is, one guy said, he like said something weird. He said the THC is activated once it touches the flame. Mm-hmm. Which, like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I know. It's like they're trying to explain it on such a high chemical level that I'm just always lost when I try to get an understanding of like what makes something THCA or Delta 9 or whatever. So I've had these experiences talking to different people in the shops about whatever. How can I buy this and buy that? Let's get whatever. So I got a little vapor, but I've really been enjoying these THC, or I guess they're Delta 8, Delta 9, something, whatever, seltzers that I've been able to get. In my recent attempting to not drink as much, which is the reason for all of this, is drink less, maybe smoke weed more. Wow.
Drink weed, which is the thing now, 2025.
Just the nice middle there.
So, and I'm learning more. Like, I used to be pretty learned in weed terminology and things, but it's like a completely different world now.
Yeah.
So all these dosages and things that are on these packages, I have these THC drinks, Delta 8 drinks that are 5 milligrams. Work great. Mm-hmm. Drink a couple of those, great substitute for drinking a couple beers instead. No problem. I went to a different store just to see what they had. All that they had were drinks that were like 50 milligrams, 100 milligrams.
Holy crap.
Like basic, like all 20 milligram minimum that just say on them only drink a quarter of. So like this drink that I currently have is 20 milligrams and it says just drink a quarter of it at a time and wait an hour in between.
Whoa.
It's like, well, who's doing that at all?
Yeah.
So I bought these and I'm already like, okay, 20 milligrams. I guess I'll try that out. And then the guy at the counter goes, "Do you like gummies?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Here's a couple. They're not that strong." And like threw them in the bag. And I got home to where I looked at the package that he gave me that says 400 milligrams on it. And I went, well, that can't be. And it's 2 gummies in the thing, both of which are 200 milligrams. Whew. And I just went, I think that I might have to go to the hospital if I, so I just want to know what's going, like, is anybody eating those? Why did he say there? Was he fucking with me? What's happening? So I just have these.
They do seem to like come in quite a variety of milligrams.
I'm used to 5, and then all of a sudden this guy's like, "Here's a 200 milligram gummy bear."
Yeah. I've gotten hit with underestimating one before. It's not a safe time sometimes.
Well, that's it. If anybody wants these gummy bears that I have, just let me know.
Email us.
So I had to hide them, and I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm burdened with it now.
Yeah. You got to put that in the medicine cabinet or something.
Be really careful. They're in my safe.
Wow, you have a safe? You're so adult.
I kind of have a safe. It's not really
one.
It's not like a safe, but it does lock, and it is made of metal. And in there, I put Should I just say what's in my safe on this podcast?
I was like, are we going there? I don't know.
I don't know. What would you, if you had a safe, what would you put in it?
Probably my passport.
Yeah, right? Like stuff like that. Like
maybe some, I don't know, important documents. I don't know.
Minus my passport and all of my like all my W-2s. I don't know why they're like. Do you have to keep those, right? I should get a filing cabinet.
I think you have to keep them for like a certain amount of time, like 10 years or something. I can't remember.
Well, I got them. I got them just in case.
That now we know what's in HP's safe.
What's in my safe? That's this new segment we're doing called "What's in My Safe," and also subsequently, if you had a safe, what would you put in it? Wow, this is great.
Let us know.
Great.
Email us at info@dizzyspell.show if you want to tell us what you would
what's in your safe and where it is and what the combo is. Mail us your safes.
I love it. Well, all right. Are we ready to get your mind absolutely blown with some
thank
concepts?
God, dude. I've been dying for my mind to get blown with concepts.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. You know, that's what we're here for, is to blow specifically your mind, HP Hovercraft. Well, I don't have any Dizzy Spell questions. I didn't even look at the New Fork website as per usual, but I do have some interesting recent events that I want to tie into some alien stuff.
Cool.
Surprising no one. So, do you have that document?
I got it. I just pulled it up.
Okay. Perfect. Because there's a couple little things in there you're going to want to refer to throughout this process.
Cool.
So, first thing I wanted to talk about tonight. This is a story that I learned about a few months ago, and I've been waiting for just a time to bring it up on the show, but we've had some important stuff to cover recently. But interestingly, I'm drawing some, interesting parallels between things that are happening right now in the story. So this is a Wikipedia article called Utsuro-bune, which is Japanese for hollow boat. And you can see the illustration of it there in the dock. And this is an unknown object that allegedly washed ashore in 1803 in the Hitachi province on the eastern coast of Japan. So there are accounts of this incident that appear in 4 texts between 1815 and 1844. And according to the legend, a young woman aged between 18 and 20 arrived aboard the hollow boat on February 22nd, 1803, where fishermen brought her inland, but she was unable to communicate in Japanese. They returned her and her vessel to the sea, and it drifted away. Interesting stuff, right? So there's like kind of a few different versions of the story, but they all have like kind of similarities. A lot of them say that she had red hair, which actually at this time was indicated to be like evil in Japanese culture a lot of times. She also was in a boat that had glass or crystal, which were the windows, and that they said the hollow boat resembled a wooden rice pit, or some people said that it looked like an incense burner. Yeah. So the woman was speaking, but no one could understand her, and she didn't seem to understand them either. A lot of the stories say that she is holding a interesting box, and that she won't let anyone touch the box no matter how many people asked her. In some of the stories, they think that she is a princess that is maybe like on the run, fleeing to escape her stepmother, or different versions of the story. Yeah, she's very, very pale as well. And there's a lot of different versions, again, of this story, but in some, she is brought to land and she marries an imperial prince and is part of the ancestors of the Kono clan. But then in others, she is put back in the boat and they let her drift away. And apparently people were said to be frightened of her. And in some versions, she just stays where she lands and grows to old age, which is also interesting. So there's kind of
in the same spot.
Yeah, pretty weird, right? So I don't know. There's just like a lot of very strange versions of the story, but I thought it was very interesting. In ufology, this legend of Utsuro-bune has been described as an early case of a documented close encounter of the third kind, which I guess should have been obvious takeaway from this story. But if anyone out there wasn't getting that from it, some people suggest that possibly her ship was an unidentified submerged object.
From the core.
Yep, exactly. And they say that the mysterious symbols that were reportedly found on the object regularly appear as notes that people have in depictions of flying saucers or USOs. And they also are suggested by some to be similar to the symbols reported from the Rendlesham Forest incident in England. And similar drawings of odd figures and unknown symbols have also been found in caves. So there's like a couple illustrations that are from this like 1800s time period that are about this story. One that I copy pasted there into the document, but there's also a couple more on the actual Wikipedia page, which I think is very fascinating. And you might want to go check out if you're interested to see more of it. So the next story though is one that I read when I first met Brent Rains, who we talked about last week and was a guest on Dizzy Spell a while ago. And this was maybe on his website, Alternative Perceptions, but I think it was a piece that he wrote specifically. And I think we kind of briefly touched on it because he talked about this substance called angel hair. And I feel like we maybe briefly touched on it one time, but I thought maybe we could talk about it a little more.
Cool. Yeah.
So
remind me what angel hair?
Yeah. So angel hair, it's sometimes called Mary's yarn, and it's a sticky fibrous substance that is found alongside areas of UFO sightings or also during or after manifestations of the Virgin Mary. And it's been described as being kind of like a cobweb or a jelly, which is interesting because that also really makes me think of like protoplasm or ectoplasm that shows up during like spiritualist seances and things like that. So reports of angel hair say that it disintegrates or evaporates within a short time of forming. And it's an important aspect of a UFO religion called Raelism. Raelism teaches that the extraterrestrial species known as the Elohim created humanity using their technology. And they're an atheistic religion that holds that the Elohim have historically been mistaken for gods, and that among the Elohim are the Buddha, Jesus, and Muhammad. Very interesting. They also believe that since the atomic bombing of Hiroshima in 1945, humanity has entered an age of apocalypse in which it threatens itself with nuclear annihilation. So I definitely think we should do an episode about UFO religions. That just sounds fun. But all of that is to say that one theory around angel hair from ufologists is that it's created from ionized air sleeting off an electromagnetic field that surrounds UFOs. Interesting, right? I like that we always get into weird substances on here. Like we talked about the resin that was coming off the saint's body in the crypt for Christmas.
Kentucky meat shower.
Yeah, exactly. Kentucky meat shower. So the reason I bring this up is because there have been a lot of reports of falls of angel hair around the world. There was a super famous one in France and one in Venice that happened. There's been ones in New Zealand and Australia and Sri Lanka. But the one that I had read about was reported at the Miracle of Fatima, which was between September and October of 1917. So this Miracle of Fatima is also known as the Miracle of the Sun. And basically 3 kids said that they met the Virgin Mary and that the Virgin Mary was going to appear and perform miracles on a specific date. And then a bunch of people showed up for that date because these kids had been visited by the Virgin Mary 3 times. And they asked or told everyone to come to this specific place in Fatima on a specific day. And newspapers published testimony from witnesses who said that they had seen extraordinary solar activity such as the sun appearing to dance or zigzag in the sky, advance toward the earth, and emit multicolored light and radiant colors for like 10 minutes.
Wow.
So, yeah. So there has been a lot of analysis of this event over the years, and basically various claims have been made about these events, but they all kind of reported similar things: that there was a period of rain, the dark clouds parted, they revealed the sun as an opaque spitting disk in the sky. It was described as being significantly duller than usual, casting multicolored lights across the landscape, the people, and the surrounding clouds. Witnesses reported that their previously wet clothes became suddenly and completely dry, and that the ground also became completely dry, which is weird. Like, I wonder if that's an effect of radiation, because I know, like, during certain encounters, radiation is in the area after and, like, burns the ground and stuff. So I don't know what that's about, but maybe we should ask Brent Rains someday about it. But I don't know. There was a bunch of, like, really cool quotes about this, but there was one that I particularly liked that was from an Italian Catholic priest named Father John de Marchi. And he said, "This was not the sparkling of a heavenly body, for it spun round on itself in a mad whirl, where suddenly a clamor was heard from all the people. The sun, whirling, seemed to loosen itself from the firmament and advance threateningly upon the earth as if to crush us with its huge fiery weight. The sensation during those moments was terrible." Pretty crazy.
Jeez.
Apparently, like, tons of people, like, threw themselves to their knees and were, like, losing their minds about it. So I don't know. I guess I just thought this was all interesting. And it also kind of ties into, there is like this whole connection where the angel hair shows up in UFO sightings and in manifestations of the Virgin Mary. So I guess this is kind of my through line here. I like that. That should be a bumper sticker. I show up at UFO sightings and manifestations of the Virgin Mary. Honk if you love manifestations of the Virgin Mary.
Honk if you show up at...
But I thought these were both very interesting. And, like, obviously Virgin Mary is kind of known as this, like, benevolent woman who, like, the rest of the story talks about how she promised all these, like, miracles and people were spontaneously healed or whatever. But I thought this was interesting. So kind of just, like, keep that in mind as we talk a little bit further about what I'm about to talk about. So first, I just want to remind everyone that in July 1st of 2023, a Pentagon official at NASA headquarters stated, "We see these metallic spheres all over the world making maneuvers we can't explain, moving at Mach 2 against the wind with no apparent propulsion. That's twice the speed of sound into the wind with no visible engines." Okay. And we're seeing similar things happening in the sky recently. So some people ask if this is secret military technology. This is what some people hope it could be, but no country would test their most advanced tech over other nations' sensitive facilities, right? I don't know. And even more important, these orbs have been appearing for decades. So that would mean that these people would have had to have had this technology for like at least 40 years, if not more. I just think this is all very interesting. And on January 14th of this year, a select committee on UAP was shot down by the Speaker's office. And according to Representative Burleson, he said they turned down the idea of giving us a select UAP committee. I've heard that they may allow a task force, which is basically a neutered committee. So I don't know. I'm curious to see if there's any progression as we move forward with these congressional hearings and these committees and this overall like governmental disclosure that seem to be we're working up towards. all of that is to say that 2 days ago, I think this happened, a former Air Force Special Operations Airman told News Nation that he worked for a secret unit that retrieved debris that he believes was crashed from a unidentified flying object. He said, just visually looking at the object on the ground, you could tell that it was extraordinary and anomalous. It was not human. And this is a guy, Jacob Barber, who had worked in both official and unofficial capacities for the U.S. government. He said that the object looked like a large white egg and was about the size of a UAP. It's inconsistent with anything else I've seen before, he said. The UAP had no engine and no thermal signature. And he said, I can also tell you that the reaction by my team, we all knew we were dealing with something extraordinary. Barber said it was later confirmed to him that the object was from a non-human intelligence, but he doesn't know what it was. So if you want, you can go into the doc there and check out the video link that I put there for the YouTube link right here and just give that a little look.
Let's see.
News Nation has independently obtained previously unseen video obtained from a secret UAP craft retrieval program.
Yeah, it's like maybe 30 seconds in there, but just look at this video while I'm talking.
In a sling below the belly of a helicopter.
So he said one of what they picked up was called an 8-gon, which he described as a flying disc with what looked like 8 delineated sections. Barber described feeling odd and growing more emotional as he got closer to the 8-gon object. I felt like something connected with me, he said. I felt like something had tuned into me and my soul and was providing me some sense of guidance on what to do and how profound what I was doing was. It was so overwhelming that I began to cry.
My God.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, doesn't that kind of sound like a religious experience as depicted in, like... I feel like people kind of have similar reactions when they're like, oh, I saw the Virgin Mary, right? Mm-hmm. So I just thought this was very interesting.
Where does God live?
That is such a good question, and I might have an answer to that later.
Wow.
So few details can be seen, but the object in this video isn't dissimilar to those that have been seen in flight in prior videos. And this footage was independently obtained of an egg-shaped object being moved by a helicopter, and this video did not come from the guy who is saying that he was a part of this mission.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So this is like 2 sources, basically. So,
Yeah.
And they also wonder if this is like perhaps what they've been calling like the Tic Tacs this whole time. Because they're like similar. They're like white objects with no wings or engines.
I see. Like a Tic Tac. The no engines thing is interesting because it's like, well, it has to have a something, but also.
Well, but the Cybertruck manifesto
that's
guy
what I was about
saying,
to say. Anti-gravitational devices.
Propulsion. Yeah. So that's.
But is that not an engine? Like, I guess not technically.
Yeah, because I think engine implies combustion, and they're implying this like is something other than combustion, I think is what they're saying. So then I like went down this rabbit hole looking at like a deep dive video analysis of the egg UAP. They're calling it the egg. Opinions from imagery analysis, and someone had also made a 3D CAD model of the video on Reddit. So there's been some very interesting reactions to the release of this footage. Yeah, online, to say the least. And it does seem like the opinions are all kind of along the vein of like, this video could be legit, which is very interesting stuff. So Lieutenant Colonel John Blitch, who was a DARPA project manager and a senior research scientist at Wright-Patterson AFB, and also worked in the White House Office of Science and Tech Policy, supports Jake Barber's claim wholeheartedly and says that the U.S. has absolutely recovered UAPs. And then I thought this was interesting that a Redditor commented, a Redditor named Warbling Continues said, it's known that electromagnetic fields can induce feeling and emotion in humans. If any of the story is true, then potentially strong fields could be involved in whatever the craft is doing. And then someone else said, yeah, that makes sense. I think so too. Inducing hypothalamus to release certain hormones, causing the object's brainwaves to end up in a connectable state, like when you're about to fall asleep or you feel extremely relaxed, yada, yada. So this is interesting, right? Because we have this guy who's saying he like felt this calming sort of like clarity and this like almost overwhelming, almost like spiritual feeling when he was like part of this retrieval project. And then they're talking about how perhaps it's like the electromagnetic fields of the thing that are like affecting our emotions. So that's really interesting. And then I saw this comment from this person named Chris Bledsoe, who said, in 2007, I reported to MUFON a 45-foot glowing egg that took me for 4 hours. The government came immediately, and the lady
45
feet? Yeah. The lady came in 2012, and the rest is history. This may explain why I've had such a connection to government. UFO of God goes deeper into what Jake is saying. And I was like, wait, I don't understand exactly. So I looked this guy up. And Chris Bledsoe wrote a book. Sorry, I'm on a real rabbit trail here, but I'm almost done. Chris Bledsoe wrote a book called UFO of God, The Extraordinary True Story of Chris Bledsoe, a spiritual journey of missing time, clouds of fire, healings, and transformation. Mm-hmm. So apparently the blurb on the back from Colonel John B. Alexander says, Chris Bledsoe, a deeply religious family man and successful business owner from North Carolina, was on the verge of the unthinkable after losing everything in the 2007 financial crisis and suffering from a debilitating chronic disease. While fishing along the banks of the Cape Fear River with 3 coworkers and his teenage son, he walked away from the group and cried out to God in a desperate plea for help. Suddenly, a UFO appears and saves his life and cures him of his illness. Returning after 4 hours of missing time, the shocked group run for their lives as several UFOs chase them home. This is the true story of hope, love, lies, and deception involving the CIA, NASA, a string of professors, and MUFON. You're about to go on a spiritual journey of awakening with a visit from the lady, again, coming up, the lady being the Lady at Fatima, aka Virgin Mary. And then he says, the lady, remote viewing, assassination plot of the Pope. Of course, you got to have an assassination plot of the Pope in there. Dripping orbs, a burning tree, the Monroe Institute, and healing the son of a Washington, D.C. power broker with ties to the IC and the White House. So this book sounds insane, and I really want to read it now. But I just think this is very interesting. This Chris Bledsoe character, it has a very interesting story, apparently.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I just wanted to share that a U.S. Air Force vet named Shane Frakes also just announced recently that he is a psionic asset and can confirm that humans possess the ability to interface with certain UAP phenomenon. Our government has long been aware of this connection and has utilized individuals with such abilities in various psionic exploitation programs under different names and designations. So they are like already using telepathy to communicate with UAP in government programs. What do you think about that, HP?
I don't know.
Pretty crazy stuff, right?
Like, real question, what do you think that second era Trump presidency is going to do to UAP disclosure?
Well, he said day one he was going to release all the documents, but I don't believe that for a second.
He said he was going to do so many things day one.
Yeah.
That just, I guess today's day one, but there's it tomorrow, technically.
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe he'll do it tomorrow.
Well, you
tell us.
You hear, if whenever
Listeners
you
in the
guys
future.
all hear this, let us know if he declassified all the UFO things. This is going to declassify all the JFK stuff, too?
Supposedly. Do you think RFK wants that, or what's that about?
See, okay, can you answer what, maybe I'm just dumb and I don't know this. In which way is RFK related to JFK? Like, is it his cousin?
Oh, I actually don't know.
Or,
let's
curious.
See.
Like, is that like his nephew? Like RFK?
He is the nephew of JFK.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. You know who else we never talk about on here that
Who?
Is the guy that is drinking his son's blood to stay young.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that guy?
Yeah. I know. I feel like maybe we brought him up when we talked about like futurism back on the radio show or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if we've ever like really covered that guy specifically, but like that kind of idea.
I feel like there was a recent development that I saw where like...
Yeah, it was like he stopped doing some treatment because he thought it was actually aging him.
Yeah, which is very funny.
No, you just age, dude. You just age eventually.
Yeah, you're just like, what do you mean it's aging you? You just are getting older because by time.
Yeah,
Dude.
Exactly.
He's also only 47. It's like nothing.
Oh.
It's not that impressive the way that he, like, everybody's like, is this one? Is this the right guy? It kind of doesn't look like him. I guess it does.
He kind of looks
Bryan
like
Johnson.
a vampire. Yeah.
Yeah, it is him, but his Wikipedia picture's bad.
Is it before he started de-aging?
No, it can't be.
Oh, there's like a whole page about the anti-aging movement. Man, now I have another rabbit trail to go down. Well, should we say goodbye to our sweet baby listeners?
I suppose so. You don't have anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that was it.
Cool.
Mostly just felt like it would be amiss if we didn't talk about the egg.
Yeah, the egg is crazy. Yeah, that video is kind of fun.
It's pretty strange for sure.
What current cults are like UFO cults?
Great question. Let's see. Oh, there's a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure there are.
I would have to
Let's do some UFO religions.
breakdown. Yeah, maybe we'll do that for our last episode of the season. Can you believe we're almost at the end of season 2?
I cannot. Okay, yeah, let's go all UFO religion next week.
I'm down. That sounds great. Well, all right. You heard it in real time. This is how the Dizzy Spell dimension works. We just decided just then the episode 20
UFO religions.
Yeah, theme. So, all right. Yeah, come back in 2 weeks and listen to that. Cool. All right. Well, you've been listening to Dizzy Spell. Special thanks to our editor and producer, Michael Eads, and our podcast network for hosting us. Thank you to Victoria Ocampo for our logo and design. And thank you to Jay Childers for the soundbed music you hear all throughout our episodes. You can check out more of his work at jchilders.bandcamp.com. Follow us on social media at Dizzy Spell World and leave us a review on your preferred streaming source. 5 is the magic number.
Dude, I saw we got several more Apple reviews, which is sick.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, I hope they're...
It seems like they're 5 stars.
Oh, thank goodness.
Seems like so far so good.
Yes, we want 5 hollow boats. No less. No
5
less.
eggs.
5 eggs, please. Yes. All right. Well, good night, Earthlings.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.